welcome back. I'm doing a little bit of investigation today, and then I may try and solve it if I find an answer. I have kept wondering whether the Smokebox door on the Britannia down there seals properly. Something in my eye says I'm not sure it does, but then I haven't been able to see a gap, but I've come up with a solution to find the gap. I have a little torch, which is a lantern. It's got different strength illuminations. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on its brightest and sit it in the door and shut the door and see what happens. So the lantern is inside in a position that will not interfere with the closing of the door. I'll do this with my other hand because I'm not so good with my left hand. Just doesn't feel right. We're tight now. How are we looking? Well, that's not great, is it? So, I've got to come up with a solution for that. So some of you may be wondering what it means, the fact that I've found that gap on the Smokebox door. Well, the importance of that is as the exhaust steam leaves the chimney of a steam engine, whether it be a railway engine, a road vehicle or whatever, a vacuum is created inside the smoke box. The only place where the air should be able to come from to replace that vacuum is through the tubes down the boiler and from the firebox, which from there draws the air up through the fire to oxygenate the burning coal, burns better, burns hotter, brighter, fiercer, and then that heat is drawn up through the boiler, heating the water, and then leaves the chimney with the exhaust steam. When there's a vacuum leak in the smoke box, yes, some of the air will come up through the fire and through the boiler, but there will also be a good chunk of air coming in through that gap in the door. So the next stage will be to seal that door. Now, there's two ways of doing it, or there's loads of ways of doing it, but two basic ways. You can either make the two faces perfectly flat to join each other, or you can put something in as a gasket to make the seal. Now, most of my engines are machined in one way or another so the two are mating faces. On this, I believe the inside of the door is already a machined face. So the problem will be to machine the front of the smoke box. I've got to do quite a lot of disassembly to get that out. So I do have a plan. So I've taken the door off, and on a bit of emery or sandpaper or something on the bed of the pillar drill, I've just rubbed the door and it's come up with a pretty clean line all the way around. So that tells me the back of the door was already flat. So I've been doing a bit of research, come up with a couple of ideas that partly following full size practice, partly following something I've seen on someone else's engine, the way everything comes. I've been online, and in the post today arrived a parcel. I've not opened it yet, and that little parcel is actually a bit smaller than I was expecting. It is what I ordered, but it is from Simply Bearings some 1mm diameter O-ring cord. Now looking at it, I'm starting to think, did I go too small with this? But we'll give it a go. I can always go bigger if it doesn't work. What I'm going to do is come up with some way of holding that in the lathe and machining a groove on the inside of the door. The benefit of going for so small in O-ring, that's 1mm, which is pretty much 40 thou. I'm going to machine a groove about 30 thou deep, or maybe I'll go 20 thou, I'm not sure yet. Might try 20 first. So 20 thou deep on the door, stick the O-ring material in, and then when it closes up and pulls tight, it'll squeeze tighter in the places where it touches, and it, to begin with, squash it flat, and the places where it didn't touch before, it will close it up and it will start to touch. We don't need much of a seal, we just need a seal. That is my plan. See if it works. As you can probably tell, this is not the same day. I've been trying to think about how to hold this in the lathe, and I've got a plan. I've made the bits, but I haven't put this in yet. So I'll show you the bits that I've made, what my thought process behind what I've made, and then we can see if it works. Fingers crossed. So all the machining that I'll show you now was all done in the same setup. So the bit of iron was a bit longer, came out to there. I first of all centre drilled and then parted it off where the centre drill still came out to give me an 1/8 hole, dead centre to that, parted off. The reason for that being, my intention to hold this squashed between 2 plates, but I wanted that to be on the face with the centre in there to push against. In hindsight, maybe I should have gone deeper with a longer piece, but I was trying to do it all in one setup, and I thought, oh, the 1/8 centre drill will be enough. I now wonder if I have gone deep enough, but I'll show you why in a moment. I then also, on the outside, the number plate mounted gives you a little bit smaller radius to go with. So I turned a step on the outside. The radius of the door means if I'd just done that, I'd have been touching in the middle alone. So I then counterbored just outside. I didn't want to be necessarily gripping on the edge of the bore, so just using a deburring tool, I just put a slight chamfer on the face now, and then centre drilled and drilled that. So with that in there, this door can sit on the face with enough of that pin sticking out to locate this piece, which, thanks to the centre, I can grip it as such. Now for the moment of truth, it works. Bear in mind, I'm only taking a 1mm, or the cord is only 1mm deep. I'll be able to do that in several very small cuts. It'll be 1mm wide, the groove, by only about 1/2 millimetre deep. So that's 40 thou wide by 20 thou deep. So I'm going to have a go at that and we'll see how it goes. So it's not that easy for me to do this and show you at the same time, but as you can see, the boring bar is out here. I'm taking the groove. I've got a small offcut of the O-ring material, and I'm just going to keep going. I'll go in a little bit. The bar sticks out a long way, so there's a lot of flex really, more than I would like, but yeah, we'll just keep taking cuts. Now with the groove machined, it's time to put the O-ring in. It's a two-handed job, so I'm going to need to do this off camera. And I'm going to use a little smear of that gasket material I used on one of the other engines to hold it in place, and then I will sit it on a flat plate with weight on it while that dries. So there it is, in place. There is a joint up here. Now just to find somewhere to put it, and then put some weight on top of it to hold it in place while it dries. So I found a small surface plate which I was given recently. Thank you, Brian. I'll put that piece of wood on and a little weight on top. Incidentally, I've got no idea what this wheel casting is for. I have 4 of them, so if anyone has a use, get in touch. I believe it's 7 1/4, 200mm diameter, and about 1 inch thick. So yeah, that's just under 8 inches on the tread and a bit more on the flange. So we will come back to that in an hour or so. I hope it hasn't stuck to the surface plate. Incidentally, if you did want to get in touch about the wheels or anything else in a slightly more private way than comments on here, I do look through the comments on here, but they can be not quite so easy to get in touch properly. I am contactable now on Facebook and Instagram. I've got a page for both. Both of them is Tom's Workshop, so if you check them out, I'll try and put them here. I can get back to you easier there. If you private message me on there, I can get back to you with a conversation. So let's get back to the engine. So another outfit change. Just got in from work and it's a bit more miserable today, but let's take a look at how that Smokebox door has done. I will add, I did spray the surface plate with a bit of WD-40 to try and stop the stop it sticking to it, so it should only stick to the door. Let's take a look. So wheel off, wood off. That looks pretty good to me. Let's put it on the engine. Not really in the best place for this to be able to show you, especially when I get my foot stuck. But we'll do my best. Oh, it's dislodged it. So it does do up nicely. Let's find my torch and do a test. Oh, that's not great. It's coming off. I might need to rethink the sticky system. But we'll give it a try. We'll stick it back in so it just stays there for this trial. Put the torch in and see that it's improved. I don't want to have to mess around with this every time I open and close the door. I'll get back to you in a moment. So we can see that the light is on inside the smoke box, but there is no sign of any light coming out the smoke box. So, what's that? Oh, it's the light bouncing off the rivets. So, it's a success in that way. I just need to find a way to keep that O-ring in the groove. And in fact, it's so bad at staying in the groove that it's got itself stuck to the door. So, I do need to rethink what I'm doing here and try again. So, same principle, but this time I've used some silicone sealant. Hopefully that will stick. And we'll see what happens. Take free time 7 to 15 minutes apparently. So we'll come back in half hour and see what happens. We're another half hour or so later. So let's see what this has done. That, is better, but not. I don't think there was too much silicone down there. I mean, it's silicone on silicone, it's not the grippiest of stuff anyway, but hopefully that'll do the trick. We'll give it a try, see what happens. Worst case scenario is we come up with another plan. So we've got it fitted. I've left it shut for a few minutes. Let's just see if the O-ring stays where we want it to be. And it has. So we will leave it like that for the time being. I hate doing this one-handed. Leave it like this for the time being. And then, next chance we get, we will give it a test run and see how she performs. I've got to say I am pretty hopeful. The amount of gap there was quite alarming really. That would explain a lot. So I'm going to go in for a while now. I have got another project lined up. Hopefully it'll be a quick one. But I will see you soon. So thanks for watching. Unfortunately I can't show you the results of this. I am hopeful, but like I say, I'm not going to get a chance to run that for maybe a couple of weeks. But I will as soon as I can. But thanks for watching, and I will see you soon. Take care.